The Giants are searching for the next head coach. He is Paul Dottino. I am John Schmelk. They have interviewed Bills offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll. And Paul, he's someone who has connections to Bill Belichick and the Patriots. He's been a defensive assistant for them, a tight ends coach for them, a wide receivers coach for them, an offensive coordinator for Alabama. We can get into that. But obviously, the last few years, bringing along Josh Allen and turning the Bills offense into one of the more potent ones in the NFL.
John, 46 years old with a wealth of experience. You mentioned the 1 year at Alabama, but mostly NFL assistant coaching experience. Offensive coordinator for the last 4 years for the Bills. And in 2020, he was named by the Associated Press as the NFL's Assistant Coach of the Year. So we're talking about a guy who is very, very much respected. My understanding is when he was at Buffalo originally and they had Josh Allen, one of the things that he did to take pressure off Allen at first was as he was trying to figure out all the different skill sets that he had, especially with his legs, they wanted to try to reduce the playbook, simplify it, see if they could get some of the run game going, and not put too much weight on Allen's shoulders initially. Then I was told once he figured out how dynamic Allen really was, he started to open up the playbook. And we have seen the results because Josh Allen has absolutely flourished into a superstar quarterback under Daboll's reign and leadership.
And obviously Daboll with connections to Joe Schoen in Buffalo since 2018. Also going back to 2011, he was an offensive coordinator for the Dolphins when Joe Schoen was there.
Yeah, well, remember now, Shane hired by Miami back in 2010 when Bill Parcells was an executive director of football operations with the Dolphins. And yes, Daboll also with the connection down there as well. So they know each other now a long time. And obviously that familiarity is going to help. Now, interesting about Daboll, you talked a little bit ago about his different positions. You're absolutely right, John. When he started out with New England, he was on the defensive side of the ball in terms of their staff. And only after a couple of years did he move to the offensive side of the ball. And ever since then, he's always been an offensive coach. And we're talking about stops not only with New England, but with the Jets, with Cleveland, Miami, you already said, also with Kansas City.
Yep.
Before that year when he went to Alabama and stepped over to the NCAA ranks, that's where, by the way, he worked with Tua, who is now the quarterback with the Miami Dolphins, and then wound up going to the Buffalo Bills.
And I think, Paul, the impressive thing is that he was able to have success in college with a quarterback like Tua Tagovailoa with a completely different body type and skill set than Josh Allen, right? So he was able to mold the offense to the strength of his individual quarterback.
Well, that's what I've been told about him, is that he is very pliable and very adaptable. He's not going to fit the player into his system. He is going to craft around the player's strengths and weaknesses. Again, that's what he did with Josh Allen once they figured out exactly how to harness his best talents.
Yeah, and he was raw coming out, Paul, and they've really built him up into the last 2 years to one of the probably a top 5 quarterback in the NFL. He's been fantastic, and he's helped do that, build a system around him, and really just develop him as a player, which obviously the Giants would love to see him bring those skills to the New York Football Giants if they go in that direction. Paul, good stuff, my friend.
Good to see you again, John.
The Giants continue their head coaching search. We'll track it all on Giants.com, the Giants mobile app, and, of course, all our social media platforms.